Imagine for a second that the very industry that built your country's middle class, the engine of all that upward mobility, just starts actively eliminating the exact jobs that created it.
Yeah, it's a terrifying thought.
Right. But that's exactly what we're looking at today. Welcome to the deep dive. We're getting into this massive paradox happening in the global workforce right now.
And it's happening fast.
So fast. We're basing this on a really fascinating press release from March 2026 by a group called EON AI Ventures. They just launched this thing called the Global Virtual Campus in India.
Which is quite the name.
It really is.
Yeah.
And their mission, what they're claiming is that this is the blueprint for AI-proofing an entire generation of workers, which is a huge claim.
It's massive. And I think for anyone listening, it's important to establish right off the bat that while the source focuses heavily on India, the stakes here are completely universal.
Oh, totally.
Like, if you are sitting in a white-collar job, literally anywhere in the world, you need to pay attention to India's IT and BPO sectors, the business process outsourcing industry.
Because it's essentially the canary in the coal mine.
Exactly. The displacement of entry-level knowledge work that's happening in Bangalore or Mumbai today, that is the beta test for what's going to hit London or New York or Tokyo tomorrow.
Wow. Okay, well, let's unpack this paradox first.
Yeah.
Because the numbers in this source document are just wild.
They really are.
Looking at the 2026 NASSCOM and India skills reports, you've got Indian tech giants, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and they grew their revenues by 3.8% in 2025.
Which is a very healthy margin.
Right. But they achieved that growth while simultaneously cutting over 1 lakh jobs. So for you listening, a lakh is 100,000. That's 100,000 jobs erased in a single year in one sector while profits went up.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, or maybe alarming is a better word, is the specific type of labor that's vanishing here.
It's not just the simple stuff anymore.
No, not at all. We aren't just talking about, experimental AI replacing a few repetitive admin tasks.
Mm-hmm.
AI has officially hit the operational core. It's handling Tier 1 IT support, autonomous code generation, data processing, even preliminary financial analysis. These are like the foundational roles of the digital economy.
The entry-level jobs?
Exactly. Historically, Tier 1 support was how you got your foot in the door. It was the vital on-ramp for a fresh grad. You learn the systems, you understand the architecture, and eventually you move up.
So AI has basically just sawed off the bottom rung of the corporate ladder.
That's a great way to put it, yes.
And the speed of this is what really gets me. Like, the projections say that by 2028, 1.5 million jobs in these sectors are at risk.
It's staggering.
Right. The Anthropic Economic Index from early 2026 breaks it down, and data entry faces 85% automation coverage.
Which basically means the entire BPO category is functional automated.
Yes. And then IT and software development is sitting at 75% coverage.
And you have to compound that with India's demographic reality.
Yeah.
I mean, displacing 1.5 million workers is a crisis on its own.
Oh, for sure.
But then you realize roughly 12 million young people enter the Indian labor market every single year.
Just looking for work.
Right. And when those entry-level jobs they used to aim for just don't exist anymore, you end up with this massive generational bottleneck.
So thinking about this from the perspective of a student sitting in a classroom right now, it feels like the current higher ed system is basically selling them an incredibly expensive ticket for a high-speed train, right?
Yeah.
But then they realize halfway there that the tracks have been completely torn up.
Replaced by a flight path they can't access.
Exactly. I mean, engineering and MBA grads are currently carrying between 15 to 60 lakh rupees in educational costs. That is literal generational debt.
And families are liquidating assets to afford these degrees.
Yes, degrees that point directly toward the exact rule-based roles that AI just mastered.
And the macroeconomic fallout from that disconnect is just severe. Because nationally, India spends about $117 billion a year on education.
Billion with a B.
Right. Yet the 2026 India Skills Report shows that 65% of graduates lack the skills employers actually need on day one.
65%?
They're fundamentally unemployable in the modern tech landscape.
So 65% unemployability against $117 billion spend. I mean, that is just a colossal misallocation of capital.
It really is a structural failure because, the traditional four-year university model operates on this incredibly slow bureaucratic cycle.
Oh, yeah, it takes forever to change anything.
Right. You have to design the curriculum, get it past the academic senates, print the textbooks. By the time a student actually graduates with a computer science degree, the coding languages they learned have been superseded by like 2 new generations of AI tools.
So traditional degrees just can't pivot fast enough.
Not even close.
But, okay, pointing out the failure is only half the story here. If universities are too slow and too expensive to fix this gap, something else has to fill the vacuum.
Nature abhors a vacuum.
Exactly. And that brings us to the actual EON AI Ventures platform, because they're pitching a radical alternative, this global virtual campus.
Built in partnership with UBT, right?
Yes, the University for Business and Technology in Europe.
And UBT brings a lot of specific weight to this. They're aligned with the European Bologna process, meaning cross-border academic recognition.
Okay, so it's legit.
Very legit. They're certified to ISO 9001 standards, ranked number 6 globally for industry and innovation in the WURI rankings, and crucially, they have a 98% graduate employment rate.
Wow, 98%. Okay,
Right.
but here is the headline feature of all this, and I want to get your take on it. They are offering this formally accredited European credential for just 35,000 rupees a year,
Yeah, that's the number.
which is roughly, what, 400 US dollars?
Roughly, yeah.
Let me just push back on this on behalf of our listeners for a second, because 35K is literally a fraction of that 15 to 60 lakh cost we just talked about.
Tiny fraction.
Right, so I have to look at this and think, if I'm an HR director at a major tech firm and a resume comes across my desk with a wildly cheap virtual degree, my first instinct is, diploma mill.
Sure, that makes sense.
Right, like, won't employers just instantly dismiss it? How does a 35,000 rupee credential hold any actual weight?
Well, see, the genius here is that the 35,000 rupee price point isn't just some random discount to look good on a billboard. It's highly strategic.
How do you mean?
It's a mechanism specifically designed to bypass corporate procurement friction.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. In major corporate firms, upskilling budgets are heavily regulated. If a manager wants to send an employee to get a traditional MBA that costs 15 lakh, that request has to go through like multiple layers of committee review.
Yeah, ROI justifications, executive sign-offs.
Months of waiting. But 35,000 rupees?
Let me guess, it slides right under the radar.
Precisely. In almost every major multinational, 35K falls safely under the discretionary budget threshold for continuous learning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it doesn't need a committee. A department head can just sign off on it on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's entirely and immediately employer reimbursable.
Okay, so they aren't just making it affordable for the student, they've completely hacked the corporate payment pipeline.
They shifted the financial burden.
Yes, that's brilliant. Instead of an unemployed kid taking on huge debt to just guess what skills they might need, the IT employer who knows exactly what skills they need just absorbs the cost as a frictionless expense.
Exactly. But, even a perfectly priced, fully reimbursed degree is totally useless if the workforce can't actually access it.
Physically or linguistically, yeah. Which brings us to the geography problem, because erasing the geographic barriers of a country as massive as India is a logistical nightmare.
It's the biggest hurdle.
Right. So let's look at how the platform tackles language and infrastructure. On the language front, the source notes that they don't just use English subtitles.
No, that wouldn't be enough.
They use AI mentors to deliver the content natively in Hindi and 12 regional languages: Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, Telugu.
Which is huge for accessibility.
It is, but how exactly does an AI do that well? Because teaching complex engineering in Tamil can't just be running a textbook through Google Translate.
Oh, absolutely not. It's not translation at all. Actually, It's native conceptual generation.
Native conceptual generation.
Yeah. The AI mentors are trained on the idiomatic and cultural context of each region. So teaching the logic of a Python algorithm to a student in rural Maharashtra requires different analogies than teaching it to someone in Kerala.
Oh, I see. So it adapts the actual teaching style.
Exactly. The AI dynamically adapts. It identifies where a student is stuck in real time, and it re-explains the concept using the natural linguistic frameworks of their mother tongue.
That makes so much sense, because you really can't democratize this stuff if the learner is burning half their brain power just trying to translate the lesson in their head.
Right, before they even get to the actual engineering concepts.
Okay, so that's language. But then there's the infrastructure requirement. Delivering that kind of heavy AI computation usually takes massive bandwidth.
Which a lot of places don't have.
But the press release says the platform is entirely mobile-first and optimized for 3G networks, 3G.
Yeah, it's designed explicitly for Tier 4 cities and rural districts.
Places where building a physical tech campus is just economically impossible.
Right. And they can run it on 3G because they aren't streaming heavy 4K video lectures. The AI generates low-bandwidth dynamic text, audio, and basic visual logic trees.
So it barely uses any data.
Barely any. But really, the ultimate masterstroke here is how they handle the administration.
Oh, the India Stack integration.
Yes.
For you listening, if you aren't familiar with India Stack, think of it like plugging directly into the country's central nervous system. It's a universal digital passport.
It carries your verified identity, your wallet, your documents, all in one system.
Exactly. So EON isn't forcing students in remote towns to navigate some clunky new university portal or upload scanned PDFs of their birth certificate.
The entire degree lifecycle just lives natively on the digital rails that Indian citizens already use every day.
Like Aadhaar for identity verification.
Instant onboarding. And for payments, whether it's out-of-pocket or corporate reimbursed, they use UPI.
Which is the instant micropayment system on smartphones.
Right. Zero fees. And then when you graduate, you don't wait for a paper diploma in the mail.
It just goes to DigiLocker, right?
Exactly. The credential is minted and stored instantly in the government's secure document wallet. So an employer can verify the degree cryptographically in seconds.
That is just a completely closed, frictionless loop, enrollment to employment verification seamlessly.
It really is. But this does raise a big question about the existing academic ecosystem.
What happens to the traditional universities?
Right. Because if a student can get a globally recognized European degree on their phone for 35,000 rupees, traditional Indian universities are going to sweat.
Oh, the vice chancellors must be panicking.
They're under immense pressure.
Yeah.
They have to produce graduates whose credentials employers in the UK, the UAE, or Singapore will actually recognize.
While simultaneously navigating this labyrinth of domestic bureaucracy, I mean, they have to align with the UGC and AICTE, the local regulatory bodies.
And the new NEP 2020 framework.
Right, which mandates highly flexible, multidisciplinary degrees. It's a lot.
But EON's platform actually acts as a co-credentialing mechanism for them.
Wait, how does that work?
So it comes pre-aligned with all those local regulations. An Indian university can partner with EON, white-label the platform, and offer this globally recognized degree directly to their own students.
Oh, so they don't get bypassed, they get empowered.
Exactly.
Mm.
And the business model heavily incentivizes them to jump on board. The traditional university sets the final retail price for their students, and they keep the entire profit margin above EON's base rate.
Oh, wow. So if an institution enrolls just like 1,000 students, what's the margin?
The source estimates an annual gross margin of 70 lakh rupees for just 1,000 students.
That's a massive lifeline. They aren't trying to bankrupt universities. They're handing them a profitable plug-and-play solution to the unemployability crisis.
Overnight.
Okay, but here is where things get really, really interesting. Rescuing university margins and hacking corporate budgets is ambitious, but the source reveals EON is aiming for something much bigger.
The government policy level.
Yes, they are positioning this tech to become the foundational infrastructure for national policy, specifically the delivery vehicle for the Skill India Mission 2.0.
Right, under what they call the Sovereign Human Initiative.
Which sounds like a sci-fi movie, honestly.
It really does. But the goal is to turn AI workforce displacement into an engine for mass economic empowerment.
And the target for Skill India 2.0, 40 crore Indians. That's 400 million people.
Which is just a mind-bending number.
Let's just pause and think about that. 400 million people. Imagine the bureaucratic nightmare of tracking the educational outcomes and preventing fraud for 400 million citizens.
That sounds impossible.
Right. But EON claims the platform is CAG audit ready. The CAG is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India.
The Supreme Auditing Authority.
Right. How exactly do you audit a virtual campus of 400 million people? Because traditional audits just look at paper attendance sheets, which we all know are super easy to fake.
Well, you audit it by removing human reporting completely.
Just entirely.
Entirely.
Yeah.
The AI isn't just delivering the lectures, it's autonomously handling the continuous skill assessment.
Okay, so how does that look for the student?
So when a student is learning to code, they aren't taking a multiple choice test at the end of the term. The AI is tracking their keystrokes.
Oh, wow.
It analyzes how they formulate logic. It watches how they troubleshoot errors in real time.
Yeah.
Every single problem-solving step, every logic jump is time-stamped and cryptographically hashed onto a secure ledger.
So you literally cannot fake the learning process.
You can't.
The audit trail isn't a piece of paper saying you logged in. It's a mathematically verifiable digital footprint of your brain actually acquiring a new skill.
Exactly. And that represents a monumental shift in public policy design.
Because right now, everything is effort-based, right?
Right. For decades, international education schemes have been effort-based. A government funds a concrete school building, they hire a teacher, buy some laptops, and just cross their fingers that it translates into economic growth.
It's basically a black hole for public funding. You pour billions in and have almost no visibility on the ROI.
But with a cryptographically verifiable AI platform, it shifts to an outcome-based model. The government only subsidizes verified, trackable skill acquisition.
So they can look at a dashboard and see, like, exactly how many people in a rural district mastered Python today.
And then correlate that directly with local hiring data.
That is wild.
And because this reporting is mathematically rigorous, it perfectly aligns with the standards of major international development banks.
Like the World Bank.
Yes, the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank. It's totally compatible.
Which means this isn't just an India story anymore.
Yeah.
If you can prove to the World Bank that you have a fraud-proof, outcome-based system for rapidly upskilling people on basic smartphones.
It unlocks international development finance instantly.
Wow. This framework literally becomes the template for any developing nation in the global south facing this exact same AI disruption.
It creates a standardized, scalable, sovereign defense against technological unemployment.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this mean for you listening right now? We started this deep dive looking at a massive paradox.
Record IT revenues, fewer human workers.
Right, and a $117 billion traditional education system churning out graduates that companies simply cannot hire.
And into that vacuum steps this hyper-accessible $400 virtual degree.
Bypassing corporate bureaucracy, using AI to teach natively in 13 languages over 3G, and integrating seamlessly with India's digital public infrastructure.
All while building an audit trail capable of tracking 400 million citizens.
Exactly. And the reason you need to care about a platform launching in India, even if you live half a world away, is because the structural shifts happening in Bangalore's tech hubs today are prototyping the corporate realities that are coming to your workplace tomorrow.
It's inevitable.
The era of taking 4 years out of your life and going 6 figures into debt for a static credential is over. Your future employer is going to expect continuous, frictionless, AI-driven upskilling.
Which really leaves us with a rather profound final thought to consider here.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we're watching AI rapidly take over Tier 1 cognitive labor, right? The coding, data entry, basic finance.
Yeah, the foundational jobs.
Yeah, but simultaneously, as we just saw, AI mentors are stepping in to teach those very same complex subjects, fluently adapting to regional dialects over basic cell phone networks.
Right, so it's doing the work and it's teaching the work.
Precisely. If artificial intelligence becomes perfectly capable of both performing the economic labor and autonomously administering the education required for that labor, what becomes the true value of human cognitive effort in the future?
Wow.
I mean, decades from now, will the ability to spend years simply learning for the sake of learning become a quaint human luxury rather than an economic necessity?
That is the kind of question that completely shifts how you view the future of work. The machine that built the global middle class is just fundamentally changing its fuel source, and we are all going to have to adapt. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the world around you. Keep an eye on how these technologies are quietly rewriting the rules of the economy, and we will catch you next time.